Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
The pods never stop. Welcome to the warm-up episode 80. I'm your host, Brady Frost, and to preview Bristol City, I'm joined by Tom Bradshaw, as always. Tom, good bank holiday?
Yeah, brilliant, Brady. Is this his 80th podcast?
80th, yeah.
Of the warm-up? Wow.
Yeah,
80 warm-ups. Yeah, blooming it. What a milestone.
What a good
well
time.
Done. Well done to you, Brady. Congratulations. And it was your birthday, wasn't it, recently? So it kind of nicely coincided. Are you 80 years old as well?
I am 80 years old, yeah. No, I'm 28, actually. Yeah. So, that's weird. Yeah, no age. I suppose it's like anything. But I've got a 19-year-old sister who constantly makes me feel about 50. So there's that. Tom, anything interesting happened at bank holiday before we talk about the town game? Don't really want to talk about it. Feel a bit bummed at the weekend. So.
Oh, really? I did a bit of a charity thing. Did a mural in my local pub. That was nice.
Oh, nice.
Raised some money for charity, but yeah, nothing really, mate. It was just a nice one. Just did a swim because I live by the sea and all that. Lovely seaside, so I had a nice swim. Make you all jealous up there in Yorkshire. Although you got to make sure you check those apps these days, just in case the government have poured a load of crap into the sea, basically.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a lot of crap, let's start with Huddersfield. So they drew two. What a segue! They drew 2-2 with West Brom at the weekend. I know the table's still early, but 23rd, which is the one win. I was at the game on Saturday. Tino Andrin, what a performance! But that second half, I'm going to be honest, it bummed me out a little bit. I thought we were lucky to come away with a point, to be honest. But yeah, so not a good one. Tom, what did you briefly make of that on Saturday?
Yeah, it's just all looked a bit. It's just a bit disappointing because it was kind of like we snatched it in the end, but you'd have hoped we'd have built on kind of not playing brilliantly, but going 2-0 up. You'd hope that they'd have built on that and maybe set some foundations, but it never happened, really, did it? There's just something missing, isn't there? There's a massive. It's that middle. We're just overrun in the middle at the moment, and it's costing us games. It's costing us points. I mean, we're not blessed with like the injuries at the moment, but something has got to change. I don't know if it's a tactical change or of getting more bodies in that area, but it's not looking good, Brady.
It's not. And Bristol, we previously have had a bit of a tricky record, but they've started the season quite well. They've played 6 in the league, won 2, drawn 2, lost 2. They're actually unbeaten in 6 league games if you count the cup, and they're 12th and they've scored in every game, as you pointed out to me before we jumped on. It's not historically a tricky fixture. I think history's gonna maybe repeat itself. It looks a bit of a tough one, especially given how we're playing. Did you single out a key player for us, Tom? Someone who could haunt the Terriers?
Yeah, for us, I don't know. I mean, it's always difficult down there, isn't it? 1 win in 6 down at Ashton Gate, and that is 5 losses as well. It's not even like 1 win and 6 draws. It's not his favourite place to go, is it? So I think, Lee Nichols, basically, I think he's already doing stuff for us that he shouldn't be and keeping us in games. So we can win this game if we keep a clean sheet. If Lee Nichols has an amazing game and keeps everything out, he's got his defence in front of him. I've got to be helping him out here. But they have only kept 2 clean sheets so far this season. That's including those cup games. So they do concede as well. I think we're going to score. So if we can keep a clean sheet, I think we can get 3 points. But that is a massive ask for Town at the moment, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's a tricky one, really. I mean, my key man for them is Andres Wyman. I thought last season was a bit of a red herring because he's not scored that many goals, but he does seem to be carrying it on. He's got 4 goals already if you count the cup and 2 assists. So he's the real danger man. He seems to be sitting behind the back two.
Yeah.
And Tom, I know one of your players is in the front ahead of him. And
Yeah. One of someone we know. Well, actually, I did have someone we know quite well written down already, didn't I, Brady? As in Nake, because surprisingly, 3 assists this season already. He started most games. Pearson giving him a bit more of a chance this year. Maybe he's seen something else in him that because last year he didn't have such a good record goal scoring or kind of setting things up either. And this year he's already down there with 3 assists. But they've got this young lad, Tommy Conway, through the academy, been there since he's 7. Had a couple of loan spells in the last couple of years. I think it was Bath City, so not a high standard really. I think they're like the league below the National League, Bath City. I feel like the Southern League. And he's got 5 goals in all competitions already this year. So they're kind of touting him as like if someone does come in for Semenya before the transfer window shuts, then Tommy Conway's basically replacing him as the person who's going to pick up those goals this year. But what start he's had, 20 years old, some good things to come from him, I think.
yeah, they've got some good players, and Alex Scott obviously won the under-19 Euros. He looks like a tidy player. So no, good.
Well, Alex
Good
Scott
pick.
lives with Tommy Conway. They flat share together, so there's like a good rivalry between them to like push each other on and stuff. I think they've grown up together in the youth system there down at Bristol. One's an Arsenal fan, one's a Spurs fan as well. There
Look
you
at
go.
this knowledge.
I know.
Do you just know anything about teams that are south of Yorkshire?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, just those 2 players in particular. That's what I wrote my thesis on at university.
Great stuff. Well, because this is a bit of a short one, we've not got a view from the other side because we don't want to hear positivity from opposition fans. So I think it's time for one thing. We'll have a little rumble through the old mailbag.
You've got mail.
Great jingle.
Great jingle. What a jingle, man, is. So the first one is from James Macbeth. We actually got asked this for the last pod, but I wanted to pick it up because I thought it was a good question. So it said, do you think we are making the most of being able to use 5 subs a game? Seems like a great opportunity to give more time to players in the fringes, brackets, depending on how a game's going, obviously. I think that's a good point raised by James. Tom, do you agree? What are your thoughts?
Possibly. I think so. Look, how many subs did we make on Saturday? Because there's a strong argument on the Utubia pod from David saying that it was one of our stronger benches in a long time, especially compared to West Brom. And when he read it out, I couldn't not agree with him there because we have got a decent bench at the moment. When you do look at the players we've had in the past, there's a lot of time that maybe not last season, but season before, it was always like, oh, who are we going to bring on? There's no one to bring on this season. So it's 4 subs we made on Saturday. So we are utilizing that, aren't we? That's it's a lot of subs in the game, isn't it? Did it change the game though? Was it Jordan who hit the post in the last
Ruffles, wasn't
Ruffles? Yeah, and then Jordan had that header from about 6 yards out that he should have buried.
It was his first touch, really, though, wasn't
Yeah.
it? I think if he's on for 10 minutes, gets on target.
So yeah, and then Boyle came on, Holmes came on, Kamara came on. Don't know. What do you think? Did it make much of a difference? Did Dwayne Holmes look decent enough? Like he has been coming off the bench recently.
I think Dwayne gets a lot of like a bit like what Brian was saying. I think he gets a bit of unnecessary stick. Like he gets singled out more. I think when we're not playing well. To be honest, I think speaking of subs, what irritated me on Saturday was obviously we were hanging on in the second half, and he took Ward off for Kamara, and then we played. Sorba was just up top on his own for 10 minutes, and before bringing on Rhodes, which I just thought was like it just didn't make any sense. We didn't have an out, whereas I think if I'm Jordan Rhodes, I'd be a bit miffed because coming on with like 10 minutes to go, you can't really do much. But he made such a difference as soon as he came on. Rhodes, like just winning those fouls that an experienced like forward does, just cause it being a bit of a pain, for the opposition defenders. So I don't know. I think I get what they're saying. I get what James is saying about are we making the most of it. I suppose it depends on how the game goes, but yeah, I don't know. Like I don't think we're using Rhodes enough. I think he deserves more minutes. I'm not saying necessarily starting because I think we had this debate a lot last season. Like Wardy offers you a lot off the ball that Rhodes doesn't. And I think Rhodes coming on with some tired legs and is good, but he needs more than 10 minutes. I think Kamara's looked decent. I wonder if he maybe deserves a start because I think we'll come on to it. Now we've got another question. It was from Nick Hood, which was like, how can Danny Schofield play Russell on the moment? Because I thought Russell was very poor on Saturday, and I think midfield's an issue, like you're saying.
Yeah, massive issue at the moment, isn't it? I mean, Russell's good at one thing. Last season he was calm on the ball. He seemed to shrug people off, turn out of trouble, and then play the right pass to the right person. This season, he's kind of done the opposite, hasn't he? I mean, we always knew he wasn't blessed for the pace, but you kind of allowed that because of his ability on the ball last season. And this season, he's just not making the right decisions, is he? And then Hogg's out, Kasumu's out, and you're basically asking, well, I mean, you got to remember how old Russell is as well. You're asking two young lads to come up against some good quality experienced championship players so far this year in the middle. It is a lot to ask of them, but yeah, we're struggling in the middle so much at the moment.
Yeah, I think we really miss Lewis, don't we? I think that's it. Like we were going to, but I think I could see why we signed Kasumi. But like you say, that already seems again maybe because we're playing. If we're winning, it wouldn't be as big a deal, but if, like you said before, he could only really play 25 games a season. So what do you do for those other 20 odd games? I don't know. It does look like a problem. I think Russell, to kind of answer the question, that I was disappointed with him on Saturday, but again, I think he's someone who's not coping well with Lewis gone and Lewis doing all this running. And I think I've talked about it before, and I know Dwayne was very good in his sub cameo against Stoke, but I wonder if you play Holmes through the middle because at least he's going to give you that energy.
Yeah,
because that's what we're missing.
I think he is the cheap, rather than going out and trying to bring someone else in. I honestly think Holmes can do that job in there. He's got an engine, gets stuck in, and then. All right, maybe he doesn't have the strength of O'Brien, that kind of upper body strength that O'Brien had, but he will fight for the ball, and when he picks it up, he drives really well. And I think one thing he has that O'Brien didn't have is that kind of that last pass that needs. We saw it at the Stoke game, won the ball back, set up two basically. So maybe he doesn't want to play there, but I don't see how no one else in the club doesn't see that Holmes could do that job.
Yeah, it's weird because I think when we signed it, I know I always bang on about this, but when we signed him, he said like he wants to be midfielder, and that was the rumor he fell out with Rooney at Derby because he wanted to be playing in midfield. So I don't know. I just think give it a go. Why not give it a go? See what he can do because I think that's his problem. He can play everywhere. Maybe if we've got bit of a gap there, maybe play him because I think with alongside Radoni or Russell, I feel that could work potentially.
Yeah.
So, midfield. Anyway, midfield seems to be a big question. James, one of the guests regular guests on here, asked us a question. It was late last night, and Tom, I asked you to do a bit of research on this. Which realistic box-to-box midfielders could Town sign? Obviously, the transfer window is still open. Bloody hell, James! We're recording this at like 9:30 in the morning. So
how can you tell how tired we are? 9:30. Get a job, you two, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Order, isn't
it? Did you? Anyway, do your job. Do your job. That's your job. Which is, did you single anyone out?
I had a look. It was really difficult, especially at this stage of the transfer window, because obviously you've got to be realistic with Town, haven't you? And it's not going to be so top of my list that Alan Campbell from Luton.
Yeah.
But Town are never signing him from Luton, are they? Unless they're paying. Probably, I'd say they'd let him go for maybe 4 million, 4 or 5 million.
Oh, well, Town will play
that. Yeah. So he'd be top of my list. But then obviously you've got to be realistic. So it's probably going to be a League One player or a Prem loan.
Yeah.
So there's a few lads that maybe we've missed out on already. Like there's the lad from. I was looking through League One and like who's had a decent start, and there's this lad who Peterborough signed, this Hector Kyprianou from Leyton Orient, a Cypriot lad, and he's had a really good start down there, a couple of assists. Daniel Adshed, who is at Cheltenham now, who they picked up from Norwich, 20-year-old, but these are both young as well, and it's like, is that a risk? We need someone with a bit more experience. It's money. You got to spend money on that. Someone who we've had in the past, who I've always thought was a bit of a hoggy, good engine, and he's been popping up with the odd goal. Kyle Dempsey at Bolton, 5 games, 2 goals so far down there. He's only 26 still, but we let him go, and he's played a lot. He's played a lot of football now. A lot of moves, but he played a lot of football. He dropped all the way down to Fleetwood, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Then got moved to Gillingham, and now he's at Bolton, back in League One. So I don't know. I got a couple of other names. Scott Fraser, who Charlton have just signed from Ipswich, but that's again, we've just missed out, I think, at that kind of vital time in the season. There's a lot of players who've made that move already, who you're not going to be able to sign because they've just gone. Then you look at loans, Brady, who've you got? Gilmore at Chelsea, but he's not going to drop down to the Championship, I don't think. And then I can't really think of any other Prem youngsters. You got any?
No, well, I was struggling, to be honest. I had a little look, and he's quite old and he's not really started, but he is from League One, so maybe this is realistic. But I always remember Alex Gorin from Oxford. He is like 29 years old. He's Spanish, but he's come off the bench. But I think whenever I've seen, this is a bit of a hipster choice, but he's always got good stats.
Yeah.
Always, so it goes a little bit unnoticed. And I wonder if, we talk about Russell and Radoni. I know Hogg's in there and got a bit of experience, but we are lacking a bit of experience. So I wonder that. I think it's tricky with box to box because like we were talking about this last night. Unless you watch them, you don't really know who's truly box to box.
Yeah.
We'd never pay him, but another Oxford player, and me and Matt are a big fan of him. He's a little bit more attacking, but Cameron Brannigan, he's quality. Blackpool tried to buy him.
Right.
I think he ended up signing a new deal, but they were going to sign him for like 1.5.
Right.
Which I think is worth the money, but it's really hard to say. And to be honest, I don't want to bum people out, but I can't really see us signing anyone. I think they're going to carry on. It seems like there's a lot of rumours about defenders. So I don't know. doesn't look like we're looking at that. Although maybe to fix it, more defensive rather than box to box. But Nakayama could play there potentially. He's played there in the past.
Well, you need Kasumu to stay fit. That's the fix.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be the annoying thing if we basically wasted a signing there if he doesn't stay fit all season. You want to be getting at least 25 games out of him this year, and even I think that's not enough. He needs to be starting most games, but when you, by all accounts, MK Dons, that was his main problem, wasn't it? Picking up injuries, and he's already missed 3 weeks because of that one from the Burnley game.
Tricky.
Yeah, it is. It's a good question, James. But I like Brady said, and I think you need to see these players, don't you? I mean, they don't. I just really like that Alan Campbell at Luton because he's like a worse version of Lewis O'Brien. I think that's what we need. We need as close to a Lewis O'Brien as we can get.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think we're missing, but maybe we need to shift it, But I don't know. James. To be honest, you do it.
Yeah,
you
James.
Tell us someone you want.
You find us players, and then you come on and tell us. Go to town, write it in an envelope, hand it to Lee Bromby. Sorted. I'm sure he'll listen to you.
Maybe Kamara, maybe there's someone, not so much box to box, a bit more defensive, but he's highly rated. So maybe just start him, as I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
We'll move on anyway. So you're the boss time. So the previous lineup was 3-4-2-1 according to the old Turfy score. So you had Nichols, Turton, Reg, Nakayama in a 3, Kessler, Hayden, Russell, Radoni and Ruffles. And then the 2 was Andrew and Thomas with Ward, but I think that kind of changed to like a 3. Anyway, Tom, I believe I'm right in saying Lee's only got a 1-game ban, so would be available for this. Signed a new deal yesterday. Quickly, what do you make of that 3-year deal? I saw some people saying he'll be 35 by the time that ends. Do you think that's good business?
I think it's good business. I don't know. I think you always with Town, right? You've got to look at the way they work at the moment, and they've always got a plan with players like that, haven't they? He's experienced. He's played a lot of Championship football. You're probably looking. He's going to be at Town at that long because he's going to eventually go into some sort of role in it. He's got to do. That's just the way Town work, I think. When you like Hoggy, the same, he'll be there. I think like they'll keep like Rhodes as well. I think that's why Rhodes kind of got that length of a deal, striker coach kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I just think that's the way Town are working at the moment and how we're set up. So I don't think it was any shock for him to be about for that long. It's similar to Hudson, isn't it? It's what happened with Hudson. Gave him that long deal, then he transitioned into that coaching role. And then look where he's gone now. He's gone to Cardiff, doing pretty well there, isn't he, with Morrison. So I think that's the only thing we've got to think about when we get to that stage is maybe not throwing these coaches in so early into situations that maybe they're not ready for, because that was kind of what happened to Hudson as well, wasn't it? So I'm happy with it. Are you happy with it?
I am. I think I know he's not started this season so well, but I think that's more. I think we're feeling the loss of Pearson and Levi. So I think we talked about it before. I think that's kind of why it makes sense maybe looking at defensive players. I think like you say, it's for the coach in 35. I saw some people saying like, oh, that means we don't want to get back into the Premier League, but I think that's a bit harsh. And also, if you think that's bad, remember we offered Richard Keogh a new contract with a coach in transition, and he turned us down. So it could be worse. I think he's smart. We picked him up on a free, and he was incredible last season. So
I'm much happier with Tom Lees potentially having that option than Keogh.
Exactly.
Imagine if Keogh had have accepted that, we probably would never have got Tom Lees.
Exactly. Real sliding doors moment. The Keogh Lee's conundrum. Um,
Mm.
anyway, so what would you do to change it? I think I'd bring Lee's back in. I know he's been a
Yeah.
bit ropey, but I think
So
I'd
Lee's
put him
in for Edmonds Green, probably.
Yeah.
I think Edmonds Green, he's looking all right, isn't it? But I think he just needs to. I think he just needs to bulk up a bit, get a bit of, because that is one problem with our back line at the moment. We've not got any big lads there really.
Yeah.
Nakayama gets stuck in. Lees uses his experience, but we're missing Pearson so much. We're missing a bit of fight and grit in there, in my opinion. But yeah, Lee's back in. So Turt and Nakayama either side. Obviously Nichols in there. Then Kesler Hayden, right back. Ruffles left back. You think? Still?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to be honest, I don't really see how else we can play at the moment.
No, I thought.
I thought he was all right
Yeah.
actually on Saturday. I thought he was all right.
He had decent spells, didn't he? Because
Mm.
was he pretty much up against Jed Wallace, wasn't he? So, and I know Jed Wallace scored 2 goals, but
I don't think that was down to him, and he
no,
kept switching sides as well. To be fair,
he's a
so
good player.
yeah,
Then I'm dropping Holmes in then Brady for Russell,
yeah,
and I'm basically saying do your best Lewis O'Brien impression and see what happens. The worrying thing there is you lose any height we had at all.
yeah. I mean, Ruffles is fairly tall, and I suppose he's got Lee's coming back, but Rodoni's 6 foot, isn't he? To be
Yeah,
fair.
true. All right. So
I've gone for the same. I've put Holmes in the middle there. Just give him a game, see what he can do.
with Rudoni,
Mm.
yeah, and then same front three.
Yeah,
Sorba played better, didn't
he did. I've actually dropped him for this though.
he? Right.
I just think he looked a bit knackered.
Mm.
Like people are saying, "Oh, he's not been as good," but like I think he just needs a rest. And I wonder, Blackpool at home. I think we've been better at home, and I wonder if he's saving for that because he can't be playing two games a week. I think he looks too knackered. So I'd give Mahoney a start.
Right, Mahoney. Yeah, fair enough.
Just I know they've been building up his fitness, but I'm seeing it as like a give Mahoney like 55.
Yeah,
and then
not Pat Jones.
Well, Pat Jones was ill, wasn't he? That's why he missed out on Saturday. But if Pat Jones is fit,
I think
it's
Danny said he was.
Coin.
I think Schofield said in his presser that there's no, apart from obviously Kasuma and Pearson. I think he was hinting at that. There's quite a few lads back. I don't know about Hoggy. Hoggy was a maybe, but I think he was saying Pat Jones. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe. I think it's a flip of a coin then. Who's fitter, Jones and Mahoney?
Yeah,
maybe Jones actually because he's left-sided.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So that's it. Same team really. I just
Basically, give the ball to Tino. Give the ball to Tino and let him run. When you look at the goals they've conceded, I think that is the best tactic. Give the ball to Tino, let him run and shoot.
Yeah.
And then just try your best to get a clean sheet.
Yeah. Well,
no silly stuff though, is it? That's the problem. There's been a lot of mistakes. There's been a lot of sloppiness this year so far.
Yeah, no, I agree. How do you see it going anyway? This game, what's your score prediction?
Can I give you 2 scores?
You can go on then.
So it's either going to be 2-0 Town.
Yeah.
Or 4-1 Bristol City.
That is quite a fluctuation.
Yeah.
Okay. What has to hinge on it for it to change?
Who scores first?
Okay. So I'm assuming if Bristol score first, you get 4-1.
Yeah, and if Town
well,
score
obviously
first,
you said 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. Yeah,
you can tell it's the morning still.
Yeah. That's what I think, Brady. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm going to do my classic where I think we'll lose, but I say 1-1. I think 1-1. Yeah, I mean, West Brom, it really took the wind out of my sails because I just thought, to be honest, Tino was just class. And that first half, and I don't think we actually played well. I just think Tino was just like 2 moments of quality. But yeah, I think when Ruffles hit the post, like the first thing I said to my stepdad was like, if we'd have scored that, we would have absolutely stolen that. So I don't know. It's just not looked good. Matt made the good point. I don't think we've played better than any team we've played this season, which is a bit worrying.
No.
So yeah, no, I'm going 1-1. I am picking Radoni to get his first.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice for him. Anyway, Tom, let's use all the level of enthusiasm, the small amount we have, because it's time for the amazing elbow.
I think the fans can probably see I was trying my best, working hard.
The amazing elbow.
As a centre forward, the last thing you want is a goal drought starting off at a club. Started on my own up front, and the really good centre forwards like Jordan were rested.
That was enthusiastic.
Yeah.
So last time on the amazing elbow, you voted in your droves. Basically, Hartrick and Chicken were having that scrap, weren't they? And they told him to visit the Kitsman's office and go ask for the Cabbage Man. So the Cabbage Man's there in the Kitman's office, and you voted that he is holding some blueprints to Canalside. Ooh, how mysterious! So he goes to this office, and there he is, and the Cabbage Man looks up at him and says, "Come closer, Mr. Elbow. Come look at these blueprints." So he does. He goes, look at the blueprints, and he notices something very interesting. In the bottom corner, on the far pitch, he sees ... There we go. Yeah.
Bottom corner, he sees ... So normally you show me before we start recording.
I know, but I haven't. So this is just off the top of your head.
Oh, have you got an answer?
I've got an answer then. I honestly haven't thought about it yet either. So this could be the most random best one ever. So in the bottom corner, he sees on the blueprints a tunnel, a secret tunnel.
A secret tunnel?
Yeah, in the centre circle. An underground secret tunnel. It's not very well hidden on these blueprints, though.
Yeah, the secret tunnel.
It's just
marked clear in the blueprint.
Yeah, it's just got a line next to it. Underground secret tunnel.
I don't know. I'm going. What does he say? This is great plotting, by the way.
I know, yeah. You have to cut this bit.
No, I'm leaving it in, keeping them on the building suspense. Okay, he sees
some elevator music over the top.
This purely. I mean, he's going to have to come in at any point, and I think it's because I saw the image the other day. No, he sees Boovy, Andy Boove, and Neil Warnock carrying on their podcast chat.
Boovy and Warnock podcast.
Boovy and Warnock having a chat.
Nice one. All right, that's good. Let's see out just two, and then we'll throw in a random one. Because I think James did one where he just elbows him randomly, so we'll just put that one in there as well.
What, James elbows him?
No. The amazing elbow just like says, "Shut up, Cabbage Man," and he just elbows him.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But hang on, he sees something on the pitch.
Yeah, I know, but right. Instead he just elbows.
Just elbows him. Just.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really driving the narrative.
Yeah.
Okay, so the options are, so when when he's looking at the blueprints for Canalside, he sees in one of the pictures either a secret tunnel in the centre circle, Andy Booth having a chat with Neil Warnock, or he just ignores the Cabbage Man and elbows him instead.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, we'll see. Right, okay, well, we will be back to preview the Blackpool game. I hope you enjoyed this. This has been short and sweet. I don't know how long we've actually been recording, but we're both very tired. And just be lucky you got a little bonus pop on the day. Let's hope Tom's prediction of a 2-0 win was right and it's not 4-1 or it's not 1-1, but we will see. But yeah, thanks to you all for listening. Thank you to Magic Rock, as always, for sponsoring this podcast. Don't forget you can get 10% off all online orders with the code AHTTC10. We will be back to preview Blackpool with some more enthusiasm and some more coffee in us. It's half an hour and up the town.
Up the town.
So town player, bring the car back to Huddersfield.